Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Rebel Ears podcast. Today is the second episode of Mind Mix Mastery. The first episode came out last Friday where I sent out an email to my email list. So anybody who's watching, go to rebelears.com. You can download our free stop mix template. It's for everybody who's a beginner with Pro Tools, engineers, producers, artists. We have a list of people who use it. YL and I use it on the daily. So go ahead and go to rebelears.com, be a member for the email list. So the purpose of the Mind Mix Mastery, it started early this year. It's February, actually. I had a conversation with my brother and sister in Virginia for our dad's birthday, and we made this pack in January, the first or second week of January this year. And we was talking about our first book would be Atomic Habits by James Clear. I finished it last month. It's a great read. You should check it out. But the purpose of the Mind Mix Mastery started beginning of this year when I told YL that I wanted to start something with every Monday there's a motivational quote, every Wednesday there's an audio tip, and every Friday is a book that we recommended. And let me check because I believe our first one was February 9th maybe of 24, and from then it's been consistent every single week. And we are in the week of September, well, the month of September. So from February to September, every week I've been consistent with motivational quote on Monday, an audio tip on Wednesday, and a recommended book on Friday. Today we're going to talk about, discovering your why. This infographic, you can check it out on rebelears.ray. It was by Mark Twain. The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. I wrote some notes exactly what I felt about this because you need to figure out your why. A lot of people, they start a business from the ground up. They see a lot of success with it, but is it their passion? Because when it comes to success, some people feel that wealth is success. Of course, you want to be financially stable, but you want to make sure that you're happy and passionate about whatever you're doing. That's your why. With my why, I went to school for audio engineering, not knowing that it was an opening for me to create the Rebel Ears podcast because I booked hundreds of sessions, from home sessions to going to studios, interning with Capitol Hill Studios and learning the basics of recording and mixing and actually dealing with clients. And with the Rebel Ears podcast, I talk about my past sessions, my past mistakes, and my past success, to the point that, you go to our website, rebelears.com. In the near future, we're getting Discord up. We're going to have our own community. Right now, I'm working with Henry with the 3 on that. Shout out with him. I like to pick nuggets from a lot of my friends and close associates. With the One More Time podcast, you should go ahead and check them out. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all social media platforms. It's an amazing podcast where they interview not just industry professionals, but producers, artists. You learn about their strategies on being successful, from touring to managing to marketing. All the information's there, and it's free. And I remember they released an ebook not too long ago, 100 viral clips or 100 viral ideas. I'll put the post somewhere in the link in the video also and on the podcast. But the information that you get out of that ebook from the One More Time podcast is basically understanding your why when it comes to creating content. As an audio engineer, of course, majority of the engineers you're listening to, they have the studio in the background, they have equipment all around, they're talking about the latest plugins. I wanted to deal with that too, but I wanted to change it up. As time goes by, I'm going to start doing more local podcast episodes. The purpose is me interviewing different studio owners in Atlanta. I talked about it in the past. I made a few calls. I posted it on all the social media platform, and it got great reviews because it was something different. Because me making a cold call for different studios about my interest in coming to your studio, dropping off 25 copies of my ebook, 10 quick tips to be a successful audio engineer, just to get their feedback on it. Because the feedback actually helps me for my next ebook I'm working on. Right now, I'm working on, let me see if I can give you a glimpse. So in a week or two, I'm going to send all my subscribers to the email list of Rebel Ears, or I'll find out a way. I'm going to make a post probably next week about the PDF copy of scheduling 4 weeks of content in one day and using one app. So it's Hookle, Opus Clip, and ChatGPT. So 2 apps, 1 website. Opus Clip is a website. Hookle is an app that I highly recommend when it comes to scheduling your posts. And ChatGPT, if you do not know about ChatGPT, go ahead, do research, download it now. That will help you when it comes to content creating, but also mapping out the process of moving forward. And all of that is to say, part of me going to school for audio engineering, from the failed mistakes to my success to where I am now, is my why. It's my way of building Rebel Ears, which is an audio production company, to helping those who's trying to improve their mixes or trying to get paid from clients, make sure you get paid, but also to, flourish in your success. And that's my why. I love bringing information to y'all that I find out for myself. Good example, like I was talking about Hookle. It was a random search on ChatGPT. I made a chat about look up the best scheduling apps. Of course, it had Hootsuite, it had Buffer, Later, and I use Buffer and Hootsuite. Don't get me wrong, they're great apps. But when I found out Hookle, Hookle, I found out for only $74 or $72 a year, or you could pay $12 a month. You can schedule unlimited posts on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter, even your Google business. And that's something I just found out recently. So I'm doing more information when it comes to the Google business. But you can schedule posts at any different time, and it's set up with AI. So if you have an idea of a post that you want to put out, you just write in a little caption and it'll generate an AI caption for you. You can have it set up when it deals with the keywords. It's amazing. So ChatGPT to help you to start the process of the content, using Opus Clip when, of course, after you upload whatever you got from ChatGPT, you read the script, you go through it. And then from Opus Clip, where it'll make the short videos of the long video. Good example, the second episode of My Mix Mastery, I'm going to upload it on Opus Clip after I do the post-production with the lighting, the color, the audio, and last but not least, Hookle to schedule all the posts. So the website, Opus Clip, and the 2 apps, ChatGPT and Hookle. In 2 weeks, I'm going to release a PDF on how to create 4 weeks of content in one day. And I've done it so many times too. Great example. 2 weeks ago, I recorded 2 hours of content with 4 different outfits, and I released it for, I think, 4 or 5 weeks. And it's just, I learned this from L.A. Russell. Shout out to him. Every interview, any podcast he's on, he do maybe 7, 8 short clips from that interview, and he released it all on the same week. So this one interview might release for the next 4 to 5 weeks on Monday. This session I did at this studio, I'm going to post it for the next 4 weeks on Wednesday. And it's a creative strategy when it maps out, okay, I got to get this whole week done. No, you have at least 4 to 5 different clips or different videos, long form, and use Opus Clip or whatever you use it to make your short form videos and map it out for the whole day for that week. So for Monday, for Tuesday, for Wednesday, for the next 3 to 4 weeks. And that's something that's going to be in the PDF too when it's released. But that is a basic know your why from the infographic from Mark Twain. So thank him for that. Now the call to action right now, I challenge you to reflect on your purpose this week. What's your why? What are you passionate about? Your creative work. Hit me up on Instagram, rebelears.ray, and let me know what motivates you to keep going. Now, the next part is the audio tip. Let's see what we got. Improving your skills daily practice, and collaboration. Now, this is the quickest way to improve your skills. As creatives, we all know the feeling of wanting to get better, but often we struggle with the best way to actually make that progress. These are a few tips that YL and I use till this day. It's in the infographics. You can download it, check it out on Instagram. The first one, of course, open your DAW and practice for at least 10 minutes a day. I agree with consistent dedication. If you are a producer, you should be comfortable. Okay, I'm gonna produce for 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is. It don't have to be a full hour or two, but the thing is you're consistent on, okay, as a producer, this is what I need to do. I already know what I need to map out. And as an engineer, you might have a session. You might not even have a session. There's websites. I'm gonna release the website that I use to get all sessions for free if you're trying to practice. This website is basically understanding, okay, this is a full track out. Oh, these are two track out. Oh, this genre is for jazz. Oh, pop, hip hop. It has it all. When I have the Discord up, I'm gonna have Henry with the three help me out with this. That's gonna be something for the exclusive members. I'm gonna release a quick course on the apps that I use to stay consistent. The free website where you can get free mentors when it comes to if you have a small business or your own LLC. For those who want to know more about it, hit me up, DM me, course. Text me the word course and we'll get that in process. And it's just funny, there's all this free information and it helps me to be where I am now. Consistent, dedicated, happy. Second part, finish your projects even if you think it's bad. I had so many sessions where I just wanted to go back and think, dang, I want to change this part. Even, let me see. I remember, I think it's either So Fresh or So Clean or Rosa Parks. I'm trying to remember I think it was Rosa Parks because the engineer was talking about the drums and how it was hitting. And I'll find the interview too because it caught my attention when he was talking about how he felt like he messed the drums up and every time he hears a track, he just feels disappointed. But those are the things as an engineer, even as a producer, even as an artist, sometimes your flaws makes the record. A lot of people use emotion in their records. Some engineers make a accidental change and it becomes the perfect part of the song. Sometimes engineers use a guitar amp on the vocals or EQ, a glass breaking and use it for the snare. It's a lot of different tricks when it comes to producing, mixing, even the artistry. There's a lot of artists who strain different vocal cords or a rapper who has a raspy part where they end in a line or they just take a breather or just stop at the middle of the sentence. That's the creative flow of the project in itself. So finish the project even if it's bad. Number 3, watch tutorials, learn from others. There's a few people I watch consistently. Marquell Russell for consistent motivation, understanding how to get clients and grow your company. Shout out to Marquell Russell. Sides, after meeting her at the off-key event at Georgia State University, I was hooked on the information she was giving, daily tips on Logic Pro. I can use Logic Pro, I'm more of Pro Tools, but it's just the fact that she's consistent giving the insight on how to improve your production, your mixes, even as an artist. And she has tips on how to get contracts with music companies dealing with from Shure Mics, Sennheiser. I don't know the list that she worked with, but her clientele is crazy. Just go to Sides and see what I'm talking about. SEIDS. Shout out to her again. She's the reason also I started going live more and posting more. So thank you for that. Tutorials, who else? Of course, one more time, I talk about Warmer Time Podcast all the time. It's crazy. Tutorials. I watch David Shands of The Social Proof. I love his content. I love his engagement with whoever he's interviewing. I remember he was talking about one book. I had it for years too, but I started to read it more. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That's a great read when you're trying to understand whoever you're talking to or whoever you're engaging with, what they're thinking or how to get through to them. It's very good. I recommend that. Number 4, collaborate with other artists. I believe in the power of collaboration, even if you don't know what to offer, because you might be in a situation as an artist. You want to work with an engineer or producer, but you don't have the funds. You can shop with the producers telling him, hey, just letting you know I have only enough to book a session to record this production. But for, let's say, the next 2 or 3 weeks, while I pay you piece by piece, it might be non-exclusive. I don't know the agreement between the artist and the producer, but there's ways around it. I use the barter system all the time because, of course, money is valuable, but time is also valuable. But time is more valuable than money. And a lot of people don't really know different steps, even in business, because there's a website that I'll put out in the near future that I told y'all you can get free mentorship. And the mentors on there is very beneficial on moving forward with where you're trying to grow. And I recommend just collaborating because you never know what kind of opportunities you can grow, even if you don't have the finances. Maybe learn to give a gab. Maybe help out the person you're trying to work with, be a part of their team, or find a way to collaborate and build. There's so many ways. Don't be scared to just send a DM saying, I want to work. Let me know what I need to do. Be open and be honest. Last part, number 5, recreate a sound or a section of a song. Now, you got to be cautious with this because if you know about the music industry, people get sued so many times for using the same chord or the same hook or even the same 3-4 words. So many top songs got sued from, let me see, Blurred Lines. What else? There's so many. I'm trying to think because Missing You by P. Diddy and Faith Evans. Of course, you know, with the allegation with P. Diddy, I'm going to just keep it at that. But he had to owe Sting for Missing You. Like, it's crazy amount that he get paid monthly. And it's just, you know, be cautious on the sound you recreate. You can be inspired, but don't just copycat. Do not do that. I do not recommend that. Okay. Now, this is something I want to ask y'all. What's one skill you're trying to improve right now? Whether it's mixing or something that deals with your creative process. Let me know on Instagram at rebelears.ray so we can talk a little more about it. I might even bring it up on the next live chat. So the last part of the My Mix Mastery is the book of the week, the Checklist Manifesto by Altu Gawande. I'm not gonna lie, this book has changed my mindset when it comes to the benefits of a checklist. Because in the book, it talks about being a doctor, how doctors and nurses have lists of different requirements before they even hit the operation room because they got to make sure to wash their hands. They got to be hygienic. They got to get the right equipment, making sure they have everything prepared for the surgery. Even a pilot, before they take off and after their departure, there's a list of things they got to go through. And it makes sense as, you know, you reach a different tier in life, you should have a checklist. Maybe your business, what's your quota? Maybe you're trying to expand on something you're doing. There's so many different things that you can do. And I learned it all in the Checklist Manifesto. A few takeaways, using underrated tools. That's a game changer for me, both my creative work and life, which, as I was telling y'all, you can use it in your professional, even personal. You can have a list of things you want to do with your family or things that you got to finish yourself or even meeting up with friends. It could be, okay, I'm going to meet up with my friends. We're going to go here. We're going to discuss, you know, you don't want to be too informative on it, if that makes sense. You want it to be, you know, a simple checklist on me and my friends at 8 o'clock, hit this bar. There's so many things you can do, but you just got to think on what works for you. So let's go ahead and go through a few lessons from the book that I posted. So the first one, you will avoid serious mistakes by implementing a checklist. As simple as forgetting to get something from the grocery stores or different food or something that's needed around the house. Or before you go to a session, there might be something you're supposed to put on the hard drive before you get to the session. There's things that you can add to the checklist to avoid hundreds or $1,000 mistakes. Believe me, it helps you to stay on point and it helps you to stay ahead of whatever you're doing. The next one, make your checklist short, clear, and focus on essentials. You don't want it to be a full 2-3 sentence for each bullet point like the checklist. I need to get this done so I can go ahead and go here. And after I go here, I'm going to do this. The next one. After I go ahead and get this, go ahead and drop this off at this place, whatever. It should be as simple as record today's episode of the podcast. Make sure the podcast area is set up. Make sure the microphones are plugged in. Make sure the cameras have full batteries. Something as simple as that. It don't have to be, like I said, a full sentence, just straight to the point and clear. What else we got? Checklists are not just lists. There's tools for efficiency. I believe after reading Atomic Habits, I have what's called the Habit Manifesto that I use daily on my phone. I created it on Excel. I might create an Excel for people to download maybe in the near future, but it helps me for 3 parts of the day. When I'm at home with my son in the morning, I need to get prepared for the day of stories, posts. I need to spend time with my son, help him with his words, numbers, make sure he's fed, and things of that nature is on my habit manifesto because it's the checklist manifesto and atomic habits that I put together. When it comes to my habit manifesto, the second part of the day is the engagement part, where I make sure to like, comment, post on threads, post something on stories, see the engagement on stories, put a poll out, because around the time of the engagement is when people are most likely to be on social media from, I guess, noon to 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, possibly. That might be a big spectrum, but I know I get more engagement around that time. And then at the end of the day, close to the nighttime, I have my preparation for the next day. I might look at the shorts on Opus Clip to get me ready for the upcoming weeks if I'm already ahead when it comes to the social media scheduling using Hookle. I'll look at, okay, this needs to be done. I'm working on this. Okay, that can wait. But the thing is, I'm prepared for the next day or the next week. The more ahead you are, the more time you can get things done, and that's the benefit of this checklist. The way that I use my checklist, there's a few ways. I already told you I use it through 3 parts of the day for my sessions, making sure I hit, my workflow a whole lot smoother. It's been very beneficial for me. I would recommend it. So what I would recommend, try implementing a checklist in your daily routine. What tasks are essential in your creative work? Make a simple list and see how it changed your workflow. And let me know how it goes. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram at rebelears.ray so you can hit me up and see what we can come up with together. So I want to thank everybody for listening to today's episode of Mind Mix Mastery, episode 2, where we talked about discovering your why, improving your skills with daily practices and collaboration, and staying organized with a checklist for all the strategies that you can use to unlock your potential. So remember, growth doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent action, you'll be amazed at the progress you make. Thank you for joining me today on Mind Mix Mastery. And don't forget to check out the blog that should be coming out with this episode. The blog for the first episode should be out soon too. But for everybody who getting the email, just want to tell everybody thank you for listening and watching. Keep tuning in.